Hi guys, my name is Melissa and welcome to Bullion Homestead. Today I wanted to go through my Azure Standard pickup order, and I thought I would just show you my haul today so that we can go through this together. Honestly, only remember a few things that I ordered. I can't really recall what it is that I ordered. And so it's kind of like Christmas every time I go pick up Azure Standard. So if you're new here or new to Azure Standard, let me share to you what Azure Standard is and why I do this. So Azure Standard is a company out in, I want to say it's Utah. I think it's Utah. And they provide grocery items and bulk order items to a group of people who purchase them and ship them together. So in other words, what happens is in your community, you go in with a bunch of other people, you place an order, there is a minimum order, I believe, and then a truck shows up in your community once a month. Everything is shipped on that truck, and then everybody that's ordered from that actually helps and assists in unloading the truck and organizing the delivery. Normally takes about 15 minutes. Today, it took us 27 minutes to be exact, because we had the biggest order I've seen since I started ordering Azure Azure Standard. There was a ton of people there. So I think some people I order monthly unless I'm going to be out of town or not available during the pickup. But it's a great thing. I love it. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to unpack what I've got here and show you guys what I've ordered. So the one thing about Azure Standard is typically you get a better quality product because most of the items are organic, or the quality is very high because Azure actually has a very high standard. They have a higher standard than actually what the government regulations are. So if you go to azurestandard.com, there's a video on there and it shares all about what they do. But the other thing is that typically for the products I can get a cheaper price for Azure than I can get at the grocery store, at the bulk stores around. And I would say that's based on a per ounce price. So obviously the more you order, the cheaper it is. So let's just dig in and see what we got here, okay? So I think this is my cream cheese. It says it on that. And when they box it up, it's not always what it says on the outside of the box, because they've got really good, they've got super good packers. And so sometimes they will pack different things in the boxes than what's on the outside. But I ordered for the very first time, I'm excited about this, cream cheese. And this is from a creamery that has organic cheese. It's organic cream cheese. I'm pretty excited about this. And it looks like this comes from Willows, California. So this is just individually 7 ounces of cream cheese. So probably close. I bet that's what you get at the grocery store. I don't even know. But I have a cheese freezer where I keep cheese frozen and then pull it out when I need it. So 8 containers of cream cheese is probably going to last us 4 to 6 months. We don't eat a lot of cream cheese, but I do have a couple of casseroles that I like for cream cheese. So anyway, that's exciting. I'm going to have that for my cheese freezer. And then this, let's see what's in here. This looks like it's been repacked. I do remember that I ordered some other cheese. One thing that I ordered that they didn't have is, what did I order that they didn't have? Oh, I ordered some ginger, some fresh ginger, because I like to put ginger in my kombucha, but they were out of ginger. So, avocados. So I bought a ton of avocados. So, and their avocados are organic, and normally I buy 6 to 8. It looks like I ordered 12 avocados, and there's a couple things you can do here. You can make some guacamole or mash this up and freeze it, and when it pulls out of the freezer, it is like you just took it out of the shell. You know, it's great. But the other thing is, most of the time, let me just look at those. Most of the time when I get my avocados from them, first of all, they last longer than what they do at the grocery store. And this one is just starting to turn soft, but like this one's hard. So these will last in the refrigerator for a couple of weeks. My last avocados lasted for 3 weeks in the refrigerator, and then they started to get a little soft. So I went ahead and mashed them up and threw them in the freezer and pulled some out a week later, or about 3 or 4 days later. And it was awesome. Tasted great. We had tacos, threw some of that on the tacos. And I had cilantro in my freezer, so I pulled the cilantro out, mashed that all up together, and then put it back in the freezer as guacamole. Great. So I will only buy my avocados now from Azure Standard because every time I buy them from the grocery store, they go bad in several days. So I don't really care for that. All right, so let's look. And by the way, I spent about $326. This is the biggest. This is the most expensive Azure order I've had to date. Normally I spend a couple hundred every month, but there were some things that I wanted to pack up on, get in stock that were a little bit more expensive this time. And here's one of them. I ordered myself some tallow premium cooking fat. So tallow, and this is from grass-fed beef. And if you don't know what tallow is what's rendered off the fat around the organs of a cow. And it's super good for you. It's good for cooking, but I got it because I'm going to make my own face cream. I started buying some tallow face cream and I really love it. And it's got all the good nutrients and vitamins for your skin. And so looks like this was frozen. So I'm gonna let this thaw out and then probably we'll do a video on making face cream out of rendered tallow. This is already rendered, and so that is great. I don't have to do the work. So I'm glad about, happy for that. All right, our next box is, this is a repack as well. So, ooh, I'm excited about this. So this is pitted frozen cherries right here. They're already pitted, already frozen and individualized. I'm gonna throw those in my freezer. This I'm going to use for possibly if I want to make any jam or syrup, but really it's for my kombucha, so I can have some cherry kombucha because I'm basically out of fruit that I froze from last summer, and it is January and I have no fruit left in there. I have like half of a baggie of blackberries, I think is what I have left, maybe black raspberries, but that is not going to last me. And so I went ahead and ordered, I think it's, I don't remember how many pounds this was, but they were on sale, so I went ahead and got those. I'm going to throw those in the freezer. All right. So this is probably a repack as well. I know I've got some flour coming, and because of the flour, let me see if that's what this is. Nope, this isn't flour, but we'll get to the flour in just a minute. So there's a couple things in here. First of all, I've got buttermilk powder, and it looks like I ordered, I think it's 5 pounds. 5 pounds, which is a pretty good size of buttermilk powder. And my plan for this is to make some of my own mixes, specifically ranch seasoning. And I wanted to make my own, and this is the base for ranch seasoning. So I got this, and it is a non-GMO buttermilk powder, and it wasn't very much. I don't remember how much it was, but it was actually a very good price. Then I got some citric acid because I'm going to be making my own cheese. So I got some of that. And then some cornstarch. I had no cornstarch in stock, and I needed that as well. So picked that up. Then I wanted another 12 pounds of honey. This is berry wildflower honey, and it is a steal on Azure. And I know it's not local honey, but I can't really afford to purchase my own local honey here in Indiana. So I buy that from them. It's very reasonable. And I have one of these in stock right now that we've eaten like a third of it, but I want to have a backup in stock because when I make my elderberry syrup, I use a lot of honey. Okay. So then I ordered 5 pounds of cheddar cheese. I'm going to cut this up in individual like 4 to 6 ounce slices, repackage it, throw it in my freezer, probably keep one in the fridge for when we hit the winery. So we've got some cheese, and it's organic, and it's raised, pasture raised on family farms, sharp cheddar. I've not tried this yet, but I'm excited to try it. The price was decent for cheese, and we buy squares of like 4 to 6 ounces. So I thought I would just take this and cut it into 4 to 6 ounce slices for us and repackage it for the freezer. All right. Then I got a lime juice, which I just finished the lime juice I had open. So glad I have that to put in my cupboard. And then it's a lot, but that is all celery seed. But again, when I buy any of my seasonings or seeds or anything for cooking, I buy in bulk, because typically what you buy in this probably costs about as much as what a little half-ounce container at the grocery store costs. So this will last me probably a year or two, and I'll food save the backup so that I've got, so it does, so it stays fresh. So celery seed. And then what do I have here? Ooh. And then, a couple things. I've got, now this is stuff I've never ordered from Azure before, but I wanted to try this stuff. So these are, ooh, those smell good. These are oatmeal soaps for our bathroom. I only ordered 2. I wanted to see how I liked them first. And then I got some cocoa butter, and this is to work with the tallow cream to make my face cream. So I ordered 3 of those, so I've got a back stock of those as well. And whoops, that empties that box. And this has got to be my Jovial. So if you have followed me for any time, I mean, I know I'm pretty new to YouTube, but on Instagram and on my Facebook page, which were at Gullion Homestead, and either of those, that's our handle on either one of those, I use Jovial's einkorn flour. And einkorn flour is not cheap. Matter of fact, it's typically about $46 for 10 pounds. They had it on sale this month, so I ended up getting 20 pounds of Jovial flour for my bulk container. The thing I love about Jovial is, first of all, this is an ancient grain that actually is raised in Italy. And so I have looked everywhere in the state of Indiana for an einkorn flour, and I have yet to find it anyplace else. So you can buy it on Amazon. It's a little bit cheaper on Amazon than it is with Azure typically. However, it was on sale this month, and it's on sale next month, so I already have one in my cart for next month. I don't think I'll need more than one after buying these 2. But the great thing is that it's super high in protein, so a quarter of a cup is 4 grams of protein. So it's nice that when you're making your bread, you've got a high protein bread. And the carbs are with the fiber like 18 grams. So it's a little bit lower in carbs than what normal flour is, but so good. I love it. So anyway, thanks for joining me today. If you are interested in checking out Azure Standard, go to azurestandard.com. I'm not getting paid from them, but it's just one of my favorite places to go to. I'm really working on building up to where I can actually buy from Azure once a month and not ever have to go to the grocery store. But I'm not quite there yet. But we would love it if you would like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our awesome content that we have. We have lots of things that are coming, and we have got a whole calendar planned of some great ideas that we would like to share with you. Thanks. Bye.